Go ahead.
All right, good evening, everybody. This is the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission. To all persons deemed interested or affected by the Town of Barnstable's Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission ordinance under Chapter 112, Article 3 of the Code of the Town of Barnstable, you are hereby notified that a meeting is being held at Town Hall 367 Main Street, Hyannis, Mass. Selectmen's Conference Room, second floor, 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 18th, 2025. All public hearings and other matters anticipated by the chair listed below may be acted upon. This meeting of June 18th, 2025 is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with MGL Chapter 38, Section 20, the chair must inquire as to whether anyone else is recording this meeting, and if so, to please make their presence known. If I could ask everybody, including the public, if you could silence your cell phones, either turn them off, put them on vibrate, or take a pause and things. Okay, calling the meeting to order. Commissioner Wentworth had notified us that she could not make tonight, and we wish her a speedy recovery. Commissioner Watson?
Here.
Commissioner Matthews?
Here.
Commissioner Crowley did notify me that he was unable to make it tonight. He sends his regards. Commissioner Jennifer Hinckley Needham. Commissioner Matt Clark.
Here.
Commissioner Laura Cronin.
Here.
Commissioner Jack Kay.
Here.
Commissioner Tom Doherty.
Here.
And I, Cheryl Powell, Chair, am also here. Welcome to everybody and welcome to our public. Also, I want to acknowledge that we have the honor of having our Town Council liaison, Charlie Bloom, with us tonight. Thank you for being so supportive. If I could ask staff to please identify themselves.
Karen Pina, Admin Assistant, Planning and Development.
Corey Pacheco, Senior Planner, Planning and Development.
Thank you very much. So, alrighty. So we have the roll call. Trainings again. If you're due to update your your conflict of interest training, please get that done. Nothing on awards tonight. Correspondence. We do have correspondence, but I'll take that with the application, if nobody has an objection to that. Okay. So first one up on new businesses: Marty Bravo and Patricia Hurley, Sprinkle Home Improvement. 38 School Street, Hyannis, map 327, parcel 235, with regard to siding and windows. Is somebody here for that?
Yes,
Hi, would you like to come up?
Sure.
You can pick either chair. If I could ask you to please sign in and then, identify. Oh, it's two people. Okay.
Yes.
We can put the reference.
Okay.
Yeah.
But thank you for asking. Okay. If I could ask you to just announce who you are, please.
Sure. I'm Martin Gravel. And my name is Brad Sprinkle from Sprinkle Home Improvement.
Nice.
Sprinkle Home Improvement.
And just to remind everyone, we no longer have microphones, but you are heard because the whole room is wired, even in the hallway. Please tell us about your project.
Sure. So the Gravels want to get their home looking a little bit more historically accurate, and if you've had a chance to either review the file or go by the house, they've got some board and batten, or just boards up on the upper part of the gable with shingles down below. They're cupping, they're curling, they're splitting, they're leaking, and something needed to be done. What they wanted to do was make it uniform by stripping the shingles off the lower section, the boards off the upper section, and replacing that all with white cedar natural premium shingles. At the same time, the trim on the front elevation of the home is wood that is clad with aluminum and just is getting unsightly. It may have looked good 30 years ago, but it's unsightly now. So we want to remove the aluminum, we want to remove the wood under the aluminum, and we want to go back with a white composite trim. And the third component of it would be that we want to replace the windows with new Anderson 400 series windows with the 2/2 grids, similar to the existing.
Is there anything else you wanted to present?
Not this time, but I'd field any questions that people may have for me.
So how we do it is we have, open it up for questions from the commissioners on the presentation. I then open it up for public comment. We then go back for a deliberation on how you have asked staff if they have any in particular input. And then we close public comment and we go for it. Sound like a plan?
Yeah, all this evening,
Yeah.
okay.
We'll help
great.
you through that.
Yep, perfect.
It goes. So, commissioners, questions on the presentation?
Pretty standard stuff.
Question
Commissioner
on
Cronin.
the color of the windows.
Black exterior and the natural interior. So I actually have a picture that I think I turned in. This is over at Captain's Quarters, and it pretty much shows what we're trying to accomplish. It would show the natural shingle.
It's on here,
Okay.
yeah.
With the white trim and the natural shingles, white trim with the black windows with the 2/2 grids.
Are you doing the windows all the way around?
We're doing the 5 on the front and the 2 on the lower just because they fall in the room that's on that first floor, and we're trying to make that first floor uniform. But we are not doing any siding on either of the sides. The siding and the trim is strictly to the front, well, other than the trim around those 2 windows.
So the cedar shingles, just the new ones are just on the front?
Exactly.
What's the condition of the ones on the side?
They probably have 5 years, I don't know how many they have in it, but they have some life left in them, and this was a big enough undertaking for the time being for.
Under the board and batten, that's not original. They put that over cedar shakes, so we don't know.
I don't know, but if you look at that belly band in the middle, it would give it away that they probably did, and that we'll probably be taking that off and the shingles underneath that, if they're there.
Brad, how is that roof there over that front gable? Does that have to be changed, or is that gonna be staying the same?
Again, that's staying the same for right now, and it's gonna be painted to try to keep the historical significance of that trim. And I can't really give them that detail, so we're going to try to paint that and continue for the time being as is.
Gotcha.
So that trim would be painted or sanded or painted, how, because you're gonna be.
In this area, just in the portico area, this is all gonna be replaced with composite trim.
Okay, and then this, you just kind of clean it up and then.
Exactly, because those are round columns and that type of thing, so,
Gotcha.
yes.
Okay,
Correct.
and as well as the porch side there too.
For the time being, that's staying as is, it would just be clean, scraped and painted,
Scraped.
but not as part of our contract. That would be the homeowner doing that portion.
So would we request that that be done at the same time?
Was that a question?
Yeah, to you. Could we request that it be done at the same time?
Oh, you were asking me, sorry, I thought you were asking.
No.
This is the application, we can request, but it's up to the applicant. We can't tell them what additional to do. It could be money restraints or something like that. And if they think they have like 5 years left.
No, I'm talking about the
Oh,
porch.
that, yeah.
Talking about the painting.
Yeah,
of-
okay. Oh, right, okay.
So the intent is for the homeowner is to paint that this summer.
Is this a private residence? Is that what-
Yes.
You gotta preserve the shutters?
I don't know the answer to that.
No, because they were just plastic, old plastic.
So you won't be reinstalling them?
No.
Sorry, Laura, I misunderstood what you were saying.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that it's the front, the rest of the house isn't getting done either, so it looks like, I just would wonder if the front just could get like you said, repainted.
Yeah, definitely be scraped and be painted.
Are you okay to add that to it?
Oh, yeah.
For
By
summer
owner.
project, yeah?
If you could say by owner as part of.
Oh, but, yeah.
Yeah, just so long as it's part of this to be done.
I guess I hate to add it to that because he hasn't even priced it out yet. He doesn't know how much it's gonna cost to paint it. I would hate to just add that to his application unless he's had a chance to price out how much it would cost.
Well, it's just the wood Rails and columns are really the only thing that need to be painted. The rest is aluminum, which we're keeping for now.
Yeah, we're talking about a gallon of paint now.
It's not too bad.
And the roof, I'm sorry, the roof was in good shape, you said?
Yeah.
I love that street, I love that road. I wish, this is such a great house, I wish it was all kind of be cedar shaped together, so it,
Well, probably, like next year, it's more of the budget, we wanted to kind of do a little bit at a time. So, I did have a question, when we, do decide, say, if we do it next year, we just go through the whole process again, right?
Even if it's the same, like white cedar to white cedar, they have to do that?
They should come by with an application for it. Because it could also change, so they should technically come back. We could add it on as something for next year. I don't see any reason why we can't.
I recommend that the homeowner comes back
yeah,
and they're ready.
just do what we have.
That's good, okay.
Yeah. That works.
I prefer that myself.
That way they can get this done,
Yep.
which is, looks like the major part of it. Anyway, the other ones have got some life left to them, then
Yes.
let's give them that.
I think we all understand that. We'll probably all like to do our whole house at the same time, but you have to do what you can afford.
And white cedar is exceptionally expensive, right?
It is. I totally respect that. Okay, so, any other questions on the presentation?
No.
Okay, we'll come back in deliberation. Is there anyone from public comment here for this one? No? Okey-dokey. So, commissioners, how do you feel about it?
I'm good. Fine, I'm good.
That's good.
All righty. So we wanted to add on to the application painting the front. Laura, how do you want that worded?
Painting the front columns.
Could you pass me the approval and disapproval forms?
Oh, yeah. The certificates?
So it would be scraped and painted, that's fine.
I guess I understand what you're saying, and I agree, I think it needs to be painted. I just don't like to make that a requirement of whether we approve it or not. That's his home. I'm sure he's gonna wanna paint it because it's gonna look good. You could put a suggestion that, we suggest that you at the same time paint your front, portico area. But I don't like slapping a something on this as that's part of it, when he didn't come in prepared for it.
But he admitted, he said he.
No, I know, but that's just my opinion. I just think that.
No, I agree with you, I agree.
I think we just say, and we also suggest at the same time, you paint your portico area, or whatever the case is. I think that's good enough. That's my opinion.
Other commissioners?
I don't know, I see your point, but, we have a historic house and we're only gonna do the front. And the sides are gonna remain the same, so let's make the front look good,
Yeah, well, it's gonna get painted unless something unusual happened. The columns will get painted this, late spring, summer, so.
We are talking about roughly a gallon of paint.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
that much.
there's not a lot of surface there.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments on that?
No.
All right. But you're quite happy to put that in, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so that way it's already approved. So, would one of the commissioners like to make a motion, on the findings, closing public comment, by the way. And this is on Marty Greppel and Patricia Hurley, Sprinkle Home Improvement, 38 School Street, Hyannis, map 327, parcel 235 with regard to siding and windows. Take it away.
Okay, I move that the commission find this application at 38 School Street to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district.
Is there a second on that, please?
With the addition of painting the front.
Are you happy with that to be added on?
Yes.
Second.
Okay, now, with regard to, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So everybody votes. Okay, so, and that's seconded. All right, so Commissioner Watson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark. Commissioner Doherty. Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
I also vote aye. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness for this place?
I'll do that.
Okay,
I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application at 38 School Street as described in the submitted materials and comments on the page.
okay. Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, seconded.
You did the second.
Who did second? Nobody yet.
I second.
Commissioner Doherty. I saw the
Tom.
finger go up, but I didn't hear it either. So, okay, Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Watson.
Aye.
I also say aye. Congratulations and thank you for working with us on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, it
Thank
looks like
thank
a
you for your
great,
time this evening, I appreciate that.
it looks like
We
a great
appreciate that.
project.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Moving right along. Farrell, Orman, DBA Aldova, 555A Main Street, Hyannis, map 308, parcel 104, with regard to a sign. If I could ask you to please sign in.
Yes, one last question.
Sure.
But you can email me and I'll send you an acknowledgement form.
Thank you. I will do that. Thank you.
Okay, if I could get you to state your names and tell us a little bit about your project. What you're proposing.
I'm Evelyn Orman. I'm Farrell Orman. We're opening
Never guess.
We're opening a women's fashion boutique on Main Street, and we're here to propose our sign to the historic board. Yep. So we're renting from Alan from Soft as a Grape, and we're right next door to him. So we'll be at 555A Main Street. Our boutique is younger, trendy, women's fashion. We're very inspired by Y2K, like early 2000s style. So we're trying to do a sign that reflects what we're trying to sell in our shop. Our mom's Lynn Mitchell from Mrs. Mitchell, so we kind of know the deal a little bit, but it's our own business.
Yeah, we have our own EIN.
Let me get out of the way.
But yeah, so it's definitely like more of a youthful boutique, so we went with the cheetah. It kind of goes with our fashion sense for the store.
Right, and we're working with Sign It Signs, so he recommended that we use an 1/8-inch composite board with aluminum faced plastic. The dimensions he said sounded good. Based off the square footage of our building, it's well within the code for like square footage.
When we originally submitted it, we did submit it with just the white and then the words. The building itself is white, so we were thinking we could add a small frame if allowed, like a little black frame around it. But it would just be the sign. We would do a fresh white paint on the front of the building. It's kind of rusted and the brick looks a little yellowed now, but other than that, we pretty much just have the sign up there. We've been tirelessly working on the inside, so the outside we're going to keep it kind of simple, but have our sign go with our theme. But that's kind of the goal for right now, but we were working with Sign It. And it would be, what was the name of it again? The composite?
Yeah.
Composite board. He suggested that would be the best for.
Yeah, for lasting over time and everything with the weather and with the design that we had in mind, that
1/8.
looked the best.
Yes. And I think he said it would be for the decal, because it is the cheetah leopard print. If it was approved, he would just be able to print that onto the sign. It wouldn't be too intricate. It wouldn't have to be. It would be like printed into the composite board.
Yeah.
So it would pretty much copy that, reflect that font and everything onto the board.
Straight print.
Are there edges on the sign?
So it wasn't.
Because we were thinking, because it's on the white backdrop, we were talking to him about just doing
Maybe just
probably
adding a
a-
black, cause this one here, like that's how it
That's
would
just-
look, and then
yeah.
we were saying maybe we'd add like a tiny black frame or.
so that it would be differentiated between just the white.
Dimension.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely play off the black in the leopard print as
And the
well.
whole building's gonna be white.
Well, so we were considering, like, we were looking at the allowed colors for the historic board, like a chart, and we were potentially thinking maybe a tan, light tan, or one of the colors that were in that board.
For that, like,
For that one
off-white.
piece there, cause the rest of that is brick, so we redo that white, just another fresh paint. Cause it hasn't been painted in a minute, the bottom board, we'd kinda go with the white.
Yeah,
And then
you
this
can
piece
kinda
where it looks
stress.
way more yellow, that's where we were thinking potentially playing off the leopard print and doing like a nice light tan or light brown in there to play off of it, but either that
That's
or
probably more down the line, we're just trying to get a sign, cause we're trying to get, you know, open as soon as we can.
I understand.
But yeah, we
Yeah.
already have, we've been painting on the inside, we've had someone we've been working with, so he has said that if we want, we could do just,
Down
even
the
just
line.
down the line, or just start with white for now and then
So that's-
kind of reconsider for the outside pieces if we wanna paint it other colors. But we're focusing on having the sign, just doing fresh white paint for now, just to keep it simple until we get more open, have more money and stuff coming in to be able to redo the front a little bit better over time. Cause we wanna add planters, like have it look kind of nice, cohesive with soft
Yeah,
grade.
especially because soft is a great.
He has a little bench right there, we want a nice planter to go with it, kind of make it look nice against his building as well, cause it's obviously attached.
Light stains, yeah.
We're thinking about the light fixture, but Alan does have, I'm pretty sure he still has the same fixture on his building on the other end, so like, I don't know if it would look weird if we ended up removing it, or kind of, we could ask him about it, cause I think
Yeah.
he has the same fixture still on his building, and the light fixture on the opposite end.
Does the storefront face Main Street or is it on a side?
It faces Main Street, so it's that popcorn place, and then that was where the Kennedy Gallery, that was
Yeah,
faces
it's
it.
back.
Next to Soft is
Yeah.
great, it was
Yeah.
where Seabags was,
Yes, yep,
right across from Allium's.
yeah.
Yes, exactly, that's the
So it
spot
does
where-
face into Main Street.
Are there brackets behind that sign already that you're gonna use to hold up to?
So there isn't that, obviously, she edited that onto there, we do not have the sign yet, we haven't made it yet because we wanted to make sure it was approved before we went ahead of ourselves.
Sure.
We were kind of considering different options of ways to hang it, it would be flat against the building, we're not doing one of the, I forget what you call it, the ones that stick out, but I'm not sure what the best
Yeah,
way
he
with
was,
the brick is, but however it would.
Yeah, through signs, he doesn't fix the signs himself, but he was recommending we could just like screw it in, have a contractor just screw in the sign for us.
The one that's there down, the Seabass sign, there are two little brackets behind it that kind of bring it up from the building a little bit.
Yeah, we were doing more of a
that
flat
ledge piece
design.
definitely sticks out a little bit from the
Yeah.
building opposed to the brick wall.
Yeah.
So there are,
The
we
way that the-
talked about the 3D, we saw it, there was, I think it's Echo Salon, another business on Main Street, they did kind of the raised letters. But the way our design is, he said it would be a little
It'd be
complicated.
better to do it flat, so he was just saying with the type of material we were making our sign out of, it would be flat and it would be easy to just screw into directly to the brick and not do some sort of like brackets or anything, because it'd be a flat sign.
Yeah, but we're looking for suggestions on that front, still getting to that point.
It would be nice to have the letters raised on there, would give you
Yeah.
depth and dimension to your sign,
Right.
as well as bringing it out and just
Yeah.
being
We'd have
flat.
to just do a different, we were going for like the leopard was gonna be part of our branding, so that's why we wanted that. And then because of that, it just is a little bit more limiting with the like doing 3D and that sort of thing of our sign. It would be more of just a straight print, based off of what we're discussing
Right.
with, sign it.
Right, and that's why we were thinking of adding that border to the sign to kind of make it
Create
stand
a
out a little bit
dimension.
more, but we could do the bracket thing and have it come up, like sit a little further ahead, so it could maybe match up a little bit more with that, that piece that does kind of jut out a little bit, if that makes more sense for the sign itself. He did say too, if within certain allotments for, like if we did the smaller sign, we could potentially get the door decal if it makes more sense, or not the door decal, the window pane, if our sign was smaller to fit into the construction with the town, like allotment for how many signs you're allowed to have. So we could do the little adult on the window if that makes it more clear, I guess, or I guess. No, we were focusing on the main signs, really, what our goal was.
Your border that you talk about, is that gonna be right on the sign?
Yeah, so
Like
that
the-
white, it
there'll
would
be
be
a
a
border?
white background board with the little black border
The border,
around
right,
it,
so
or
he'll
maybe a
print it on
dark
the sign.
brown. Yeah, it'll be printed on the
Okay.
same sign. Yep.
Do you wanna add that to the application?
Yeah, we can add that. We were thinking about it, we just never got around to adding that part, the black, it would be probably black, right, or dark brown?
Yeah.
Whatever piece label.
Did you say you were gonna decide on the color paint before you opened or after you opened?
I think we were just gonna go with just do fresh white for now until we had time to reassess the front, cause we're pretty much in there every day working on the inside, so we were waiting for this meeting to get approval on the outside before we started painting anything. We were gonna prime it, do like a white, just kind of match what was already there. Clean it up, yeah, cause it has all these kind of little rusty stains, this looks a little
Yeah, it looks a little.
beat up, it needs to look fresher and nicer for a
You can
nice.
try power washing too.
Yeah, that's true, yeah, that definitely, actually. But there are pieces that were definitely looking like, some looked really white, I don't know, cracks and things, so we started to, yeah, so we started to caulk it and like kind of set it up, but we didn't wanna jump too far ahead and paint it until we had this meeting. But yeah, we were thinking just white, and then we could always come back and discuss a paint color, because we were looking at that, kind of the color option for the town, for the historic, and we weren't sure what necessarily we would like. We wanted to keep it simple, just simple and classy for the boutique, so white for now, but
Okay,
figure it out.
that sounds good.
Yeah.
And we definitely have lots of whites in that color.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
And it's nice
Yeah.
sorry if I was blocking anyone. It's nice to have applicants who talk about what we have and on offer.
Try
Not
to do it
everybody
right.
does that, you know. Can I have pink?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was there before?
It was Seaback before.
Yeah.
I feel like a few years ago it was something else, but I can't remember. But yeah, Seaback for a little minute, but then we came across the opportunity, so we're excited to have a younger boutique on Main Street.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to present to
No,
us?
I'm good as long as there's nothing else.
So, any of the commissioners have questions on the presentation? No?
Cut and dry.
Yeah, it seems cut and dry. Or I'll open it up to public comment. Larry, you have anything to say? Okay, and welcome, by the way. Okay, so commissioners, I hear cut and dry, I see some nodding heads, everybody pretty much okay with it?
Yeah.
Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, everybody gets to vote. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion? And do we want to add that border to it? What kind of inch border?
Let me say I guess it would be. It would be small. I don't know. Did you have a note from the guy at signing?
No, he said that we would like work on it, but he didn't say, he was also waiting for us to be like get approval, so. I don't know,
Do you want to say between 1 inch and 3 inch or something like
yeah,
that?
it would probably be very
'Cause
minimal.
He didn't say a size to us when he had suggested it, but.
I don't think it's a problem
Yeah,
adjusting it
okay,
later, but this
perfect.
gives you some wiggle room,
Awesome,
if you're
yeah.
okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So
would
we're
one
gonna, you add the black trim or not add the black?
add the black trim, but with a 1 to 3 inch as a 1 to 3 inch border, it gives them some wiggle room.
Yeah,
and-
we're gonna do it based off of just, you know,
Oh,
obviously, like.
I really think you need something to it.
Yeah.
I
agree.
agree.
Everything that's all white, you know,
Agree.
Yeah.
maybe that one, you know, if you do the whole building white and that one part
That's-
across the top of the outside, like beige, that would
Yeah.
really make the
Yeah.
whole place pop.
That's
Agreed.
Yeah, we totally wanted to do that too. We just didn't want to get ahead of ourselves for the
Yeah, we wanna
first
be able to
Yeah.
catch the season.
Make some money first, probably,
Yes,
yeah.
definitely.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So, everybody okay, we'll put it on 1 to 3 inches?
Sure.
It gives it depth,
Yeah.
right? Black.
Yeah, black.
Okay, so would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the findings, please, with regard to Farrell Orman, DBA All Data, 5558 Main Street, Hyannis, map 308 parcel 104 with regard to a sign with the addition of a black border, roughly between 1 to 3 inches on that border.
Sure, I'll go. I move that the commission find this application to be compatible with the preservation and protection of the district. Again, adding that 1 to 3 inch black border around the sign with that addition.
Is there, seconded by Commissioner Doherty. All right, Commissioner Kay,
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews,
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin,
Aye.
Commissioner Watson.
Aye.
I also say aye. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion on the certificate of appropriateness for this specific property?
Sure, I'll pull it up. I move to issue a certificate of appropriateness for the application of 555A Main Street in Hyannis, as described in the submitted materials, with the addition of a 1 to 3 inch black border around the edge of the sign.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Doherty again. All right, Commissioner Watson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin, Commissioner Matthews,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty,
Aye.
Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
I say aye.
Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Very nervous.
We don't bite, I promise.
Very good.
So,
Yeah.
quick
Good for
question.
you.
If we do end up doing the tan beige border color, we just come back for another meeting to approve that, for that piece?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Alright, will do. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, good luck.
Thank
My
you.
agenda.
For my work.
Good evening, it's still light out there.
Oh, you did?
Now, this is actual correspondence with regard to.
It's so exciting to see
I love
young
it.
women starting their own business, and that's
Two,
great.
two sisters.
Yeah, that's great.
My two sisters would have killed me.
Well, you don't know how this is gonna go yet.
Okay, we did receive one piece of correspondence, it's from Will Planencheck, am I pronouncing that
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Planet or Planencheck. So we're gonna go through the, bottom up. So, on June 4th, hi Willie, received your voicemail message, the applications for 473 Main Street are in a 20-day appeal period from clocking in with the town clerk, which will be up on June 12th. I can sign off on them at that time, thank you. Then, on also June 4th, from Will Planchek to Karen, it's hi Karen. I recall Cheryl saying she was going to waive the appeal period. Okay, please contact her, thank you Willie. Then on June 13th, good morning Karen, could you please sign off on the permit building 25-134, the 20 days were up yesterday. Thank you for your assistance, Willie. And then on June 17th, good morning Karen, may I paint the sister Blue Board Restaurant, the same colors approved for Wicked Willie's 473 Main Street, whitewashed and trim green without a hearing. They are sister buildings. Your thoughts and Cheryl's, thank you, Willie. So what are the thoughts, Commissioner Cronin?
This is of concern too, because this had a couple of issues going on. When we first saw that they painted it before the 20-day period was over, they started the work on it. There was some concerns right away there that they may not have understood our district, and certainly did not understand what whitewash meant. And then they painted the green already as well before this was even signed.
Okay.
And there was some questions of concern of that continuing even at our last meeting on the 4th, because I couldn't go into too detail of the past project. It was understood that there was one that just came before us, which was this one, where the applicant may have a lot of confusion as to what we would deem appropriate for colors as well as materials as well as everything else for that project, and it does not look like I think what we were presented. So we had asked to have them come forward, which you said they'll be coming at the next meeting. So having them do any more work or getting this approved, getting it signed off on, I would think that could be held off. I think you probably already signed it. Yeah, so I guess why wouldn't that have been raised a flag for us to say, wait a minute, there's some things going on here? And before signing off on something that
Yeah.
we approved, I get it, I understand what we approved, and we were suggested not to do so in such a hurry, but we immediately saw something was wrong and wanted to have it addressed. So how would that not have triggered maybe having him come before us ahead of time, or even asking the question, maybe I don't sign off on this? Because once that's signed off on, he can continue doing what he's doing in his mind, what he thinks is
I knew
appropriate.
what was approved. And actually, I apologize to you, because when you sent me that email yesterday, I think, wasn't it?
That was a follow-up, yeah.
Yeah. The,
I sent it last week.
yeah, the, I thought you were referring to another applicant, which is going to be back next time, but how do the commissioners feel about this?
You mean, can I just clarify? So this gentleman is not coming back on the second?
What do we want to do?
That's the one you said was coming back on the second?
Well, I thought you were talking about another one, because I had 2 other emails about another one beforehand.
So here's my thought. If he came and told us he would whitewash it and it's not whitewash, everything should stop. And we should bring him back in here and say, hey, listen, this is not what we expected it to be. We didn't expect a full white, or the case is we expected a whitewash, and you've gone a little bit farther than that. And I wouldn't let him do anything else at this point in time until he comes back in and we can make sure we have all of our ducks in a row.
Yeah,
The problem is, he has.
Well, but I mean,
Everything's all
then you could very easily say,
whitewash can be taken down.
yeah, exactly.
You should have done something before it gets to here.
I stopped there
Yeah.
one morning, I called you and I think I called
Yeah.
The Memorial Day.
Memorial Day, I wanted it stopped, and they said we couldn't stop it. That's
So-
what I was told.
So we
And,
have,
just getting back to Laura's point, yes, we voted on this, but we also, he came in here, we kind of, bent over for this guy because, he wanted to get going for the summer, and we said, okay, and he was gonna go back to Corey and go over a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I think even the bandstand isn't what we expected, it to be, especially with all plywood facing the police station. The color of the chairs, I think if we could avoid it, avoid it. but-
Can I ask a question? Did he come back to you, Corey, with going over some materials or paint colors or stuff like
He
that?
brought back additional materials the day of your 2 meetings ago, and we brought them to Cheryl to review.
Okay.
And she reviewed the additional materials he brought.
Okay.
What were the materials though?
Whatever you requested in addition, I can't remember it off the top of my head because I'm not prepared to.
Yeah, we can go
Talk
back.
about
I know the
this right now.
bandstand was, there was some
So it was
question.
at the drawing of the bandstand, you wanted, dimensional drawing
Yeah.
of the bandstand and a few other things that I
Yeah.
can't recall because I'm not
We
prepared to talk
wanted
about this.
landscaping, I think was one
Yeah.
thing.
I think he was in a rush to get it open
was in
for
a
the
rush.
summer, and but again, I think we, as the board that actually approved the application, if we see it's not really the way it was supposed to be, I think we have every right to stop everything and have him come on in. Let's just talk.
The sizing and the specifications on the drawing that he gave,
Made it look huge,
it's
didn't
the
it?
size of this room.
well, it did make it
The
confusing.
size of this room,
Yeah.
I mean, everything is right.
And I know that's the first thing I noticed is, oh my God, this is so small. I mean, it just
It literally the size of this, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe.
It does stand out.
I think that, when you look at what is going on, again, those lamps are red, they're not flickering flames, as he had said were going to be, they're red. The fence is not being fixed, there's now, little globe lights all around, not little, they're quite substantial. The back of the bandstand, if that's what you wanna call it, is the seam and the stickers and stuff all over it. And I just saw that they put the top on, like that, what do you call that, wavy rooftop thing there.
Awning?
No, it's like a tin, reminds me of an old tin barn roof that waved like that. I was thinking it was going to be like, if you look at Smith's Family Popcorn, they've got the right idea, both lighting and everything else, and that's what we gave examples of, so
I think we even
bad
mentioned
on
that.
us for not, not being more forceful when we were recommended,
No,
have them come
no,
back.
I don't think no bad on us, we agreed to what was gonna happen, it just didn't happen, so now we stop it and say, hold
But
on.
we could have stopped it back before it got to here.
You're probably correct, but I mean, now that we've seen everything happen, I don't think again, I don't know what the legal things are, but I think we have every right to say, hey, listen, obviously there's a disconnect, you're doing things we didn't approve.
And we can make him change things.
Yes.
We
I think
gave him
so.
the sign off on the
If
thirteenth.
it's different than what we
We gave him the sign off on the 13th. We knew there was a problem.
Yeah.
Before that date.
So, what
Who
we
signed
can,
off on the 13th?
We did.
We did here,
This with the sign off. That's what this correspondence.
we voted on it. So what we can do, we'll have to check with legal. Corey, do you have input on this?
Sorry, what?
Do you have input on this, legal wise?
I mean, you could start an enforcement if, with the way you see things as they are currently, are not what was presented earlier. You know, I did recommend you to continue the meeting and have them bring further information, and now we're in this position. So yeah.
Okay, so, what I'm going to do is review the tapes. And go over them too, because I wanna verify.
Stage.
Yes, I know, I saw it. It does look a lot more cramped
Well,
than what
that's
was in there.
bigger, but it's the fact that this was supposed to be done professionally.
Can I see that?
Sure.
So that's the bandstand here, right?
Right.
Yeah. And where's the tiki bar? There's no tiki bar.
The tiki bar
It's
hasn't been
supposed to
put
be in the
in.
middle.
It's just,
Oh,
but there's a
okay.
bunch of
Yeah.
lounge chairs and tables. I mean, had he come back to us with the color pattern, somebody would have, I can't imagine any one of us approving the color pattern that's there.
So he originally came in front of us on May 7th.
Yep.
So I think we just go back to May 7th, look at the videos, look at the agenda, look at what was happened, and say, hey, listen, we've got a disconnect here.
Because the other thing is that this plan is not reality.
it's not reality.
They can't, he's gotta come back with a different plan, because this is not what he's gonna be able to do.
And I don't know what the legalities of it is, I don't know the answer to that, but I mean, I assume that if the enforcement has to take place, I assume that we would be the ones to say, to call it, right? And say, hey, we've,
Well, we need to check with the legal, and we need to review the tapes, because I do remember it was about May 7th, but I need to verify what we approved in that. I definitely remember it looking a lot bigger than it is.
oh yeah, it looked pretty big, it looked huge. In fact, I drove by and I'm like, how stupid am I, did I not realize it?
No, it's,
Well, it was all kind of covered and stuff like that. so
Yeah, and
maybe you
he had
thought,
pictures, so I mean, but in my head, I saw that, oh, let's,
the color green.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly.
Did you say you shouldn't have whitewashed the brick?
it was supposed to be whitewashed, what he did was he painted it. It's painted, it was a little tiny version. We even had a picture of what we were approving.
and I believe we also talked at that meeting about the lights at the popcorn place and said, that's the kind of lights we like.
Yeah.
It's gonna be, yeah, absolutely.
We don't have enforcement powers.
I know, who
We do
enforces?
have an agreement, if there's a conflict.
Building has to do it?
If there is a form that I helped put together with Brian Florence years ago, and we've only used it once or twice. If it's not in accordance with what we agreed, and I think we have to first verify what we agreed, and then see where we want to go. Then we can say, this is not according to what we agreed, this is what was agreed.
Have you seen it? You
I
personally?
have, but I don't go down every day. I mean, I see it probably once every 10 days.
I think we call him, we invite him back, say, hey, listen, I think there's some confusion. And we just extend the olive branch, say, listen, let's work this out a little bit. If there's pushback, then we go to enforcement. But I think the first step is to have.
It's not enforcement yet. We have to first, step one is check the tapes.
Right, no, I know what you're saying, I'm saying that if we ask him to come back in and just, look this over a little bit, we have some confusion.
Yeah.
And he pushes back, then we go to your form and we go to what we, with the next step.
But he's still working.
But at a minimum, exactly, at a minimum, he misrepresented his application. This is not what he's doing. This is, regardless of the paint color or
Yeah.
the materials,
Fair comments.
he misrepresented what he was going to do.
It
And he
doesn't look
didn't
anything like that.
come back and say, I have to redo this, or he started working before the 20 days. We mentioned that, we knew that right
I
away,
agree.
and we didn't, there was nothing that we did as a commission. We should never have signed that document on the 13th, which was last week. Just because we would have said, hey, wait a minute, there's a flag going on here, let's take a look at it. Certainly don't have him paint anymore or do any other colors on historic. But he misrepresented what he was gonna be doing.
So we should look at the tapes. And then I, see where it is on that, and I will contact, maybe to contact legal tomorrow and see where it is.
You should put this on the next agenda
I think so too.
and have them come back
Mhm.
and review what's been done currently and what was proposed at the original meeting and approved.
I agree, 100%.
And have him bring the actual colors, the actual dimensions, and the actual
we need-
materials that he's using.
But we need to also be versant on the tapes before that, so.
Be what?
We need to also view the tapes before that, so I will do so in the next couple of days, but just so we know what was said. I think that's important.
Yeah, I'm just reading the agenda.
That's fine, but let's get them on the agenda and bring them
Yeah.
back.
1 second.
I'm reading the agenda, and it says, for example, whitewash the existing brick, trim around windows, looking for a soft green.
Remember the,
Refers to the color
We even
swatch.
showed him what the whitewash looked like.
I was gonna say, he brought in a sample of that
Swatch was soft
whitewash.
gray.
Remember the whitewash
Yes.
sample he brought in?
He said that's what it's going to be. They know how to whitewash.
Well,
In the
he's
in the
also
landscaping, he didn't
He's
do
asking for
what he
a
said he was
minor
gonna do.
mod.
The fencing, he didn't do what he was
Wondering if
supposed
I
to do.
give
The
him the
lighting, he
application,
didn't
have
do
him
what
come
he
in
was
and
And the lighting is supposed to be solar.
Bandstand, he didn't do what he was
It
supposed
is silver, but they're
Was
supposed to
the
be.
bandstand the correct size? Did he have dimensions?
It's red.
5 to 6 lanterns.
to do. I think he
It's
did it.
red. It's 4 lights to each lantern.
I can't remember, well, he was gonna go back to Corin.
I mean, that bandstand is like this wide.
Oh,
And the,
Yeah, it was- I mean,
and
it's
the
like
colors
52
just,
feet.
I think that's.
even
I think that's
if, even if we agreed to this green, which we did, which we have done before, we've agreed to that green, then he should have come with us on the outside colors if he's gonna be matching it. Because if he did that, which is, we said it was okay, you don't put teal in that other color there next to
And make sure-
the quote that.
We should make sure that the matte look is there, because that's something we talked about, and we wanted matte for the PVC stuff and all that, so I don't know if that, I
I
haven't.
don't even think
Very
he
close.
he hasn't done
The
the
fencing isn't done. but
fencing isn't done.
The bandstand is not matte, it's not very good.
The
And he's
light,
got
the
that
light
roof.
posts aren't.
But even the tiki bar was supposed to be built out of wood and the PVC to trim it off, but the matte look of the PVC, I don't know.
I don't think he's
haven't
gonna
seen
have
that.
I don't see how he's gonna fit a bar in
It's
there.
not
I
gonna
know.
fit the tiki bar.
But he's also,
But didn't
It's
he
not
say he was
finished.
gonna look, we questioned that green, and he said he was gonna look for a soft green.
He says soft, it is soft green, it refers to the color swatch. So he must have brought a swatch
did.
in, and we
He did.
pointed at a certain
he
degree.
did, yeah,
So,
he did,
Again-
he brought it in.
it's, I think
There's a new
Corey's,
building on the outside of this. They built a small structure to the left of the door. I don't know what it's for, maybe it's a shed.
I think Corey's absolutely right. I think we just put it on the agenda, ask him to come in. If he doesn't come in, then we just go from there, but let's,
I think he'll come in.
Yeah.
I see no reason to.
Well, in the correspondence, he's asking to paint that other building, so that would be a minor modification, but he doesn't wanna come for a hearing, so.
No.
I can send him the form and then let him know you can come in for a minor mod, and then maybe you guys can address it at that.
I would say that, no, I would say no. The answer is no.
Well,
Do not
we
come
can
in
send an
without a hearing.
application and we can't prevent.
Well,
He's asked, his request is to do the second building without a hearing.
Yeah, but what Karen's saying is
We'll
send
have
us
But
an
then I'll just
application.
send him the form anyway. And
Just say,
No,
no.
we want you to come for a
Yeah,
minor
okay.
mod,
So,
and then you guys
yeah.
can address it at that.
Yeah, he will
can't-
not, he may not understand that the word no has to come first,
Yeah,
and,
we can't deny people being able to make an application.
no, what I'm saying is we can deny him from not having a hearing.
here's our problem, is at one point I asked, how would we all like to vote to see the other items first to continue, or have staff review, and is that approvable? So we decided to let staff review.
That's right.
And not to have them come back, so,
Because of the time situation, so.
because we wanted to open for Memorial Day, yeah,
Right,
okay,
And that did pass,
we'll clear it
so
up.
we'll do this. So,
So is that gonna be 2 weeks
I
from
haven't
now?
gone by.
yeah, July 2nd. But somehow we have
Why
to
don't they
stop.
red tag it?
Can't we
Whenever
just
someone
stop
stops,
it from
it can't
doing it?
afterwards.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I haven't seen.
That's a legal question.
Oh,
Can't we
Well,
just
legal
stop
question,
Not
give it to
the
the
last
building
10 days.
department.
I can put a request into building
to have him
and see if
stop?
they can put a stop.
Put a pause on
Right, put a stop until the appropriate representation
I agree.
before us.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
That way he stops. He can continue doing what he's doing inside.
Yep.
But, but anything else needs to stop.
Till we clear these.
So we want to put it on the July 2nd? I think that's the next one.
Sure.
We're gonna have a lot of stuff on July 2nd. Yeah. What do we have, I know another one we're gonna have, but.
I hate this when fireworks on the 4th.
So then what were you referring to, your email then to me?
I'll tell you later, because I don't want to bring up an application that isn't here to add some rest.
All right.
So that's that, okay. So. That's a plan that we have. I don't think we need to vote on that. I think that's just a plan that we discussed, and we'll do that. Okay, discussion, Hyannisport Local Historic District Study Committee discussion.
So if you don't mind, could you just, quick thumbnail, just review what's going on and what we're really trying to get to?
Sure, so in the near future, town council will be having discussions about whether or not to appoint a local historic district study committee to expand historic district protections into Hyannisport. So generally, the current historic district commission that is in play in the municipality will be that study committee, can choose to be that study committee. So essentially, this meeting, you guys will talk about and vote on whether or not you want to be that study committee. And we provided a flow chart for you and how it works and essentially the tasks at hand that you would kind of perform in order to get to that point of recommending or not recommending historic district expansion into Hyannisport.
Now, I see that in this flow chart, you'll have all the different study reports, the preliminaries, introduction, and methodology, significance, justifying the boundaries, all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty intense. And it also, if we do agree to be this board, we would have to meet with Matt's historical committee staff first
Yes.
to kind of get their thoughts approved.
This came up before, and I think it came up with the Barnstable Historic Committee.
Yeah, so this, you also had the discussion with Barnstable Historical Commission,
That's right.
whether or not they wanted to be the study committee, and they decided not to be. They voted and presented a letter to town council, putting forward their opinion on the matter, and which was provided for you and your staff in the material. I don't know.
I
The
didn't,
last page.
oh, I didn't see it.
They basically said, that
Can we actually read it in the record, so that way?
We're gonna read it into the record, yeah. But, so I wanna, well, shall we just go ahead and read it for everybody? Do it now. By the way, Bob Frazee is the chairman of the Historical Commission. So, dear Council President Tomash, at the Barnstable Historical Commission held on May 20th, 2025, the commissioners determined the Historical Commission should not serve as the local historic district study committee to establish Hyannisport as a local historic district. The commission respectfully recommends that if a LHDSC is sought to be established, then unlike the commission, it should be focused exclusively on this task and consist of Hyannisport residents, including members of the various associations located in Hyannisport, a local architect, and past or current members of the Hyannis Main Street Waterfront Historic District Commission and the Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee. The Historical Commission would like to serve as in an advisory capacity to the LHDSC. Sincerely, Robert Frazee. This has come up a couple times on the BHC, and it was felt that I don't think any of the members live in Hyannisport on the BHC, right? And I don't believe any of us live in Hyannisport, is that correct? Okay, I thought I was right. But the, they felt it, because I know a lot of the Hyannisport residents do want this. If they want to do it, I agree with him, that my personal opinion is that it should be their, I think you put it in here. It should be made up of the residents of Hyannisport if they want to put it together, and possibly have members from a member from BHC, a member from Kings Highway, because there's 3 historical commissions in the town of Barnstable. Kings Highway, BHC, and the HHDC. Simply because if you're starting out anew, then what do we do and how do we function? That was the general feeling that I got, but do you,
I would say that we could just put our letterhead on it and use the exact same words. I think he said it very eloquently and I think very succinctly that it gives the town council an opportunity then to create their own and, use whatever, makeup. But I think the Hyannisport residents need to definitely be involved in creating this.
I think they should exclusively be involved, that's their village.
If it's made up of another member, then if the town council sees that, but I certainly would support it. That's why I think Bob said it very well.
I think that, like the BHC, there's nothing wrong with us being in an advisory capacity. What was the history, what were the challenges, what do we have that, the stumbling blocks and that. But I totally agree, it should be made up of Hyannisport residents.
I don't even think it's a bad idea, and I'm sorry to throw you, under the bus here, Jack, but with you being a member of the Barnstable Historic and Hyannis Historic, you would be a great advisor.
And an architect.
Yeah, and an
wow,
architect.
3
You'd be a
hats.
great advisor to represent both of our committees, in that.
When we sat in this meeting, I'm on that commission. And one of the things that I mentioned to them was, I think we've only had about 3 Hyannisport projects in the last year.
I remember you
What the hell
saying
else are they gonna do for the whole rest of the year? They're gonna just cancel meetings and not meet? So the load is so light, and it's such an exclusive community that what will they do with their time if they have no applications? And I don't know how the town can financially support that with admin and all the other things. It just didn't, if they had, a real volume of traffic there that they could handle, that'd be one thing. But if they don't have anything to do, what's the point?
But isn't there also an opportunity for them, Hyannisport, I'm speaking with the residents there, to say, maybe we want to define it so that there isn't what's going on. There's a lot of, if you go down in Hyannisport, it doesn't even look the same anymore. So many places have been torn down. Partial demolitions were really full gutted demolitions.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Yeah.
maybe that's their way of saying you would probably have a lot more if people followed that protocol. Right now, there's no protocol to do anything.
But we're not handling it, so who's saying they can do it?
Exactly. So that's what maybe the issue is. And that's why the residents of Hyannisport.
You have to get permits.
Jack, they don't have to,
do that.
would they have to meet bi-monthly, once a month? Could they meet quarterly? They can set their own rules, right, if they want to, if it's that important to them?
They actually have and correct me if I'm wrong, but I was at that meeting where they were talking about Hyannisport has a civic association that they could possibly pair up with. Did I get that wrong on my memory?
No.
It doesn't say it in here, but they thought that they could have it under the civic association somehow with Hyannisport residents, so they're doing more than one thing and have a historical aspect to it.
It just have to generate some method to keep the board viable and keep them busy. And if it means if we feel like we're overloaded, we could shift some load over to them, but I don't know how complicated that all is gonna be.
Well, I think we handle our load pretty well, but, it's something that could change in the future, of course. But, so are we in agreement that we write back and recommend that it should be Hyannisport residents as
Yeah.
well.
I think it's
With some,
with some advisory,
With some
just like it
advisory
says right there,
capacity, yeah.
getting support.
I think, and again, I think Jack is perfect in that advisory because he
agree.
represents two boards and is an architect.
only if Jack is
If
willing.
he wants to, right?
Yeah, I'd have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
I just I wanna make sure that in all fairness to everybody, that we don't establish something that can't sustain itself.
I agree. That's why I don't know, maybe it's a quarterly meet, maybe, I don't know. But I agree with you, if you're just sitting around and we're canceling March, and we're canceling April, and we're canceling, then it's worthless.
I think it's needed though.
I do too.
In Hyannisport, I
And they
really
want it.
do. I see things going on there and it's,
And nobody, I mean, they're getting approved, stuff is
Yeah,
happening,
approved.
and they,
Well, there's nobody to stop them, there's no
Nothing to
board,
stop
they can do whatever they want.
they're
whatever
not,
they have for
The thing
guidelines.
is, as Jack has said, we've only had a small handful coming from Hyannisport. If I lived in Hyannisport, I would want to, at least on the deciding committee, that there were some people, couple even, that are from the area where I live and know that area like I do. So I do know a lot of residents there do want it.
And you identify that Hyannisport area is totally different than Hyannis' Main Street and Barnstable Old Kings Highway. They have their own distinct,
Yeah, they
historic
have-
caricature that they're trying to maintain, but it's being destroyed.
They have to decide for themselves, what do they wanna be,
Right.
50s, 60s, what are they
Right.
looking for, 40s?
Right.
What are they looking to be? So that's all, I agree, that's their decisions,
But it
that's
is
their.
definitely-
you see some of the old
So-
houses getting knocked down and
Yeah.
new ones being put up. And then you also see other old ones being restored.
Yeah.
There's a couple of them. So it's kind of a mismatch.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think if this kind of a committee would kind of
Yeah.
put the brakes on, at least
But they need their
regulate.
own, they need their own guidelines.
Yeah, exactly,
You know,
exactly. I agree with
I
you.
don't know what their zoning is,
I agree with you, yep.
Okay, so
That last meeting, the last time we had a Hyannisport before this commission, it got pretty heavy. We ended up with all visiting the site, we ended up with a lot of conversation and had all kinds of people came in here and opposed what was going on, and it was a tough time.
Yeah,
So,
and if I'm living in Hyannisport, who's the HHDC to come in and tell me what my community should look like? That's their job, they live there, they should have the say. So I agree, I think we kind of mirror exactly what this is.
Yep, I will take care of that.
yeah.
Okay, as advisory then.
I tell them to hurry.
Advisory.
Yeah, hurry,
I tell them to hurry.
Before the next house gets renovated.
renovated.
Okay,
Partial
so that
demolition.
takes care of that. Do we feel that we need a motion on that for the letter? I think we should.
Yes.
So I'm going to make a motion that we put together a letter that responds and says pretty much the same thing as the BHC has said. Of course, it's from us. But that we show no support that we agree with the BHC that it should be made up of the local Hyannisport residents. But we are very happy to serve in an advisory capacity.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have a volunteer from our committee that is an architect and very versant and is happy and willing to.
Has anyone talked to Betty Lutke about this?
Boy, Betty Lucky talks about it all the time.
Oh, she
That's
does.
really,
Oh, yeah, she's very interested in this and has a reason to be.
Oh, so
Yeah.
she lives right there.
Absolutely, has a reason to be.
yeah.
She came in and described her own home and the situation it was in, and I went, holy mackerel.
Okay, so.
Second.
Okay,
Yeah, I
seconded by
second,
Laura. Okay, Commissioner Watson,
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin,
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty. Commissioner Kay. I also say aye, so we'll take care of that. Do we really want me to bring the letter to the next thing, or do we want, actually, I can send it to, Karen can send it out to people too.
Slaps the new letterhead.
Yeah, okay, so, here's my agenda. Oh, right in front of me. Okay, matters not reasonably anticipated by the chair. I had a call today from Commissioner Crowley with regard to the octagonal building on South Street.
Oh, yeah.
The Baxters.
Yeah, that there had been some queries about, I know we know who the owners are. He thought they were in Louisville or somewhere like that, somewhere in Kentucky. But if we wanted to get involved on preserving it, and that is in our district, Does everyone know the one we're talking about?
The hectagons.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
It's the,
That's a great house.
it is a great house, but it's also,
It started with repairs and now it's gone disrepair.
yeah.
it
It's an old
private?
sea captain's house.
Is it privately owned now? Or?
I believe it is.
It's still,
And Neil did some checking into it, and it seems that it's the people who own it now do not live in the area. So it could be just keeping the property on, but really, what do we feel we can do? We don't want death by neglect or anything like that. How involved can you get to try to help it?
Can I ask, because they're in the HHDC in our district, wouldn't they have to come with us with any kind of renovations or any kind of things they wanted to do to their place?
But they're not.
Okay, but they're supposed.
Yes.
Supposed, gotcha.
and they don't have, it sounds like they don't have the financial, maybe not the financial wherewithal to do anything with it.
Well, we don't know that.
We don't know
Yeah,
that, but it's not, right now, they're not doing anything with it. So if that happens, then what's gonna happen is it will get, the property will certainly go by neglect.
But
Somebody live there?
the owners
No,
want us
they
to
did,
get
but they
involved in
haven't.
this, is
I'm
that?
sorry, what?
The owners want us to get involved in this?
Not that I know of.
Oh.
Apparently, there's some people who have commented to Commissioner Crowley about it.
So no one's living there now, or are they renters there now?
I see a
Do we know?
car there.
Every now and then you see a car, well, there
Every
was
now and
somebody
then.
there, but I don't know that there is right now.
I don't see a car there on a regular basis,
There used
but
to
I'm
be
not
a couple
going
of years
past it on a regular basis.
Yeah, I don't
There have
know,
been cars there.
I don't know where our bearing is, like legally, I don't know what
I
our,
don't either. So I will investigate that on what we can do, if anything.
There are grants, I checked with the Historical
there are.
Society, in Hyannis. There are grants to restore buildings like
Yeah,
that.
there are.
If the people are willing.
Mm.
And, you gotta get the architectural history of it. And that's gotta be, one of a kind.
Do we know
There's
if
three,
it must be on the
Okay, so
registry?
look at that.
There's one behind me and there's one next on,
Oh, yeah.
towards, 20,
It's on the registry.
yeah,
So
it is registered, right?
it is registered, yeah.
I would love to see that building.
It has such huge potential, and it's so unique.
It still has the garage with it, which is makes it even more unique.
Same with the armory, that's,
oh, that building, we gotta save that, I'd wanna save that building. The historical part, I love the mural on the front of it because it's exactly what happened in that building, how do we let that go? We gotta save that,
Which one is that?
the armory.
We have to find out what
Armory.
I will endeavor to find out what our options are. Okay? He called me today and asked about it, and I said, I will bring it up.
But the armory could be a museum, really could.
good,
It could be,
absolutely.
well, you don't know what the condition on the inside is.
Yeah, well, you're right, but I mean, I'm just saying, man,
I do, we tried to rent it and we were told it's in such disrepair that it's not even available.
That's the town's neck, yeah.
the town owns that, we own that?
No, town owns
Oh, the
it.
town is?
The town owns that.
That's what,
It's the town, a
Charlie?
town,
no. Your boss.
I didn't,
Oh.
he said
Jim.
you thought the
Yeah,
others lived
the
in.
town
Right
owns
to
the
Jim,
armory,
yeah,
yes.
Jim was like.
Oh, no, the
It's a safety
Octagon.
hazard.
Oh, no, the town.
Oh, yeah, the town owns the
I thought you were
armory,
talking about
sorry,
the
I thought you
armory.
were talking about the Octagon.
No, the
Yeah,
armory.
No, it's
town
over the
owns-
armory.
Town owns
That's a
the
set.
armory.
That's
It is, it's
That's a set.
Yeah.
Where's the Kennedy Foundation, to help that?
We should see if somebody like that wants to buy it and fix it up. You can make money, again,
It'd be a museum.
what a great museum it would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Actually, I wonder if the Historical Society would be interested in making it into a,
I mean, if it's in that rough a shape, it can't be worth that much, theoretically.
so we have a fact-finding mission. So,
The library has information on it.
good point,
Hold on.
good, excellent point, thank you.
Lori, well, you and I could stop by. The library has information on it.
We could do that and stop
Can I give
by.
that task to the two of you, would you mind?
Not at all.
Excellent.
Then go break into the armory and see how it looks. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. Anyone's listening, it's a joke.
Okay. All right. Anything else? Matters not reasonably anticipated?
That was good stuff.
Okay, job well done.
I'd still
Approval of the draft minutes for June 4th.
Motion to approve is written.
Is there anyone who was not here June 4th?
I was not. I read the minutes, if that matters.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Okay. I don't
So,
understand how that matters, because how could I say that's good if I wasn't here to know it was good?
You gotta watch the meeting.
That's what I mean. I didn't watch the meeting, I just
didn't
read
watch
the
the
minutes.
meeting as well.
I've heard from Leo that all you have to do is read them.
All you have to do is read the minutes?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Clark, would you mind not voting on this?
No, I watched
then?
the meeting, I can vote.
Oh, you were at the meeting on June 4th?
I watched the meeting.
Oh, you watched it. Okay, that's good.
Oh, yeah, so that.
Okay, I thought you said you didn't. Okay, so in that case, would somebody like to make a motion for the approval of the June 4th?
Laura already moved it,
Oh,
so
okay.
we need a second.
We need a second.
I'll do it.
Commissioner Kay. Commissioner Watson.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty. Commissioner Kay.
Aye.
I also say aye. They are passed. So would one of the commissioners like to make a motion, if there's nothing else, for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Cronin, seconded by Commissioner Matthews. Kay.
Aye.
Commissioner Doherty.
Aye.
Commissioner Clark.
Aye.
Commissioner Matthews.
Aye.
Commissioner Cronin.
Aye.
Commissioner Watson.
Aye.
Mayor say aye. We are adjourned. We're adjourned. Thank you for your help
Oh,
tonight.
Rachel,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry, Rachel, thank you for your help.